today. I thought we could have ChillPoint at the beach and it would be super nice. Oh no, what's that? Oh no, it's Allison. Oh, he's gone. Don't worry. Somebody foreclosed on it. Palisand, the spookiest Pokemon.
I'm so glad I added that in at the end of the episode for yesterday.
Is it?
It looks so shocked at what's happening.
I like Palisand. I guess just looks shocked at anything that happens. It's just like, is it? I've been saying I've been thinking it was palace, like palace sand, but is it Palossand? Palisand?
I think it's spelled Pollas, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's supposed to evoke the word like palace or as Rob Raccoon, there's no the in their name, has said pile of sand.
Right, yeah. And I believe turns other Pokemon into sand and eats them, or something horrible like that.
Definitely eats them. Absolutely eats them.
Gross.
A lot of Pokemon are creepy and scary, and everyone in Pokemon Legends Arceus is right to be afraid of them all.
Yeah, because in the normal Pokemon games, people are very blasé about Pokemon when they should be afraid.
That Pokemon over there made out of human spirits? That one that kidnaps children? Nah, no worries.
Children, eh?
I mean, we send our 10-year-olds out and kick them out of the house anyway, so what do we care if it kidnaps children? What was that noise, by the way?
That was the timer that I set for my tea being done. And I did not realize it would play on the stream. I apologize.
It sounds like it's the timer for we better tell people what the show is and get started.
It's probably a good use for that timer as well. I feel like maybe we should have that timer in the front of... hey everybody, welcome to ChillPoint, the show where we talk about video game news, and specifically we talk about yesterday's episode of CheckPoint. And this week we had all sorts of stuff. And yeah, I guess we could just start from the top here with talking about this multiverse thing from the makers of Genshin Impact. And I'm going to level with you. A pretty good portion of the reason why I marked this story as something we might do is Hoyoverse is a very funny name.
Mm-hmm. It is definitely a choice.
Yeah. So I don't know, because I mean, frankly, there's very little information on actually what this is. Deliberately so, I think.
Okay, so we live in a time where everyone keeps using the word metaverse, wrong as well, in a wrong way.
Apparently, we don't live in a society; we live in a metaverse.
I don't think that's what this is. I think this just honestly sounds like hey, Genshin Impact's real popular. So what if we also made sure we did anime and manga and other things and went, hey, it's all in a thing, in a bubble, like a franchise.
Yeah.
That's just a franchise.
Yeah, we used to just call this a franchise. It's not that impressive, really.
It just, it's fine. It's just a company saying, hey, what if people didn't want to play the video game, but they wanted to watch a cartoon? We could do that.
And I do like the specific thing about it's like we're going to focus on long-term operations strategies, consistent technical research, and innovation in a variety of fields to ensure that sufficient content is created to meet expectations of players for a virtual worldwide experience. Which is like, it's weird to have them just come out and sort of say, like, we're working on making sure that we can like stuff this thing full. It's like they don't say that we're working on doing an innovation in a variety of fields to make sure quality content is
Oh
created.
no.
They're talking. They want volume of content.
I wanna point out, Paul, that anytime we talk about ourselves or other content creators, we just call ourselves content creators. None of us say we're doing quality content. That's a promise
Yeah,
that we'd have to keep. I ain't doing that. I'm just
quality
making the
quality
content. If people
content.
show up,
Yeah,
great.
quality content creators is like a whole other thing. But I mean, knowing Genshin Impact, they've got a pipeline, shall we say, for creating a certain type of content that has been very successful for them. And so I assume that's what there will be more of. So if you want to have a variety of multimedia sources for TV shows and manga and other entertainment things with cute anime ladies, and
I will point
possibly
out
boys as well.
there are boys in the game. They're not all. It's not all just wife gacha,
There's also
waifu
husband
gacha or
gacha.
whatever. There are boys. The game doesn't just give you girls right off the top. There are other human beings.
Well, that's great. There's lots of they've
Um,
got the
They
system.
definitely like to showcase the girls.
Yeah. So anyway, we don't know much about it. It's funny because it's called the Hoyo verse. And that's about it for that story.
I want Sea of Thieves to come out with the Yoho verse. So, because that's like a piratey type thing, right?
Right,
Yo-ho, yo-ho,
That'd be the
enter
like
the Yoho verse with me.
that'd be like the Sea of Thieves world. Is the
Yeah,
Yoho
and
verse.
won't that be great to have like one verse called the Hoyo verse and another one called the Yoho verse in the same
That
the same sphere of our reality to confuse people.
to be honest, it's done by Rare, or Sea of Thieves is done by Rare, right? Like
I have no idea
as
who
like an
actually
April
does that one.
Fool's joke or something. Doing like an announcement of like the Yoho verse for Sea of Thieves would actually be a pretty awesome. All right. Next story is talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, which from
Isn't it? I'm sorry. Isn't it Horizon Forbidden West?
yes, but I will continue saying it wrong.
Okay.
Yes.
I started calling it Horizon Forbidden Dawn the other
That
day
works too,
because I like that name.
Horizon Zero West.
Only East.
So which by the way, Forbidden West has been getting phenomenal reviews.
I believe it came out today.
Yeah, but yeah, I believe it came out. People are very excited about it.
So nobody's
rightly
watching our
should.
show right now. They're all playing a video game, which is okay.
That's why you have
I
two
understand.
screens. Two screens.
Oh, it's out on the DS? Oh, that's awesome. that system hasn't gotten released in a while.
They had to scale it down a little bit, but
I'm so man, I'm just flattered that we are on the DS.
But yeah, there's I think Ars Technica had review was like, this is everything a sequel should be, stuff like that. Like basically seems to be Horizon Zero Dawn, but like fixing all the things people didn't like and making it better. So yay for that.
Hmm.
And one of the things that they're doing is that there's Sony is teaming up with the Arbor Day Foundation to plant trees, a tree for every person who unlocks a Reached the Daunt trophy, which, from what I understand, the Daunt is one of the first areas in the game. So it's like you've gone past the tutorial and gone past the intro area, and you've just gotten to the part. So theoretically, it's a pretty easy achievement to do.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, it's like yay for planting trees. That's positive. It's a little bit. So there's a limit to. So it's limited in the sense of it's only until March 25th.
Oh no, that's just over a month.
Yeah. And then it's also there's a cap of 288,000 trees that they're going to plant,
Hmm.
which sounds like a lot, but I mean, people actually worked out. There's a couple of people in the YouTube comments actually worked out to like how many hectares of trees that is, and it's not like that big a space of chunk of trees. Also, it's worthwhile to note that Horizon Zero Dawn, the previous game, uh, not too long ago hit 20 million sales. So I feel like they haven't released any numbers for Forbidden West yet, but I feel like in pre-orders it's probably past 288,000.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's not how many games they've sold, it's how many people make it past the tutorial section. And
Right.
wouldn't it not be a little embarrassing to have a huge amount of sales? I mean, they're not going to care about that part too much, but then they can't plant all of these trees because not enough people made it past tutorial.
They just have like a shed full of trees.
I mean, I would definitely market this thing as like, hey, first people to get through the tutorial, you get a tree planted. Isn't that cool? Up to
Maybe,
this many people. The first
maybe,
288,000 people to get trees planted.
what if they actually just sent you the tree and you have to plant it?
As a gamer, I don't like to do extra chores.
But the
I play The Sims to simulate taking the trash out, Paul, not so that I can take the trash out.
right, that's a good point. Good point. Uh so yeah, uh I appreciate the effort, but it does definitely seem like a little bit of just kind of a trying to sort of make themselves look good and everything, which is obviously
Yeah.
I guess what it is. But sure, do it, I guess. But I'm assuming they're just gonna do 288,000 and just leave it. Like,
Oh,
presumably they've
probably.
already like scheduled and bought the trees and whatever you have to do in
Yeah,
order to
I'm
make that.
guessing this is like a budgetary thing to do with like PR and whatnot. Um, it would be more fun, I think, to just have the month long deadline
Mm.
and then to find out how many trees ended up getting planted as opposed to having a cap. But if this is a thing that they're paying for, I can understand from a budgetary sense of like, we only have this much money to put towards this
Yeah, yeah.
particular PR thing, so we are going to cap it.
There's always a slight aspect with PR things like this, with the sort of like for people who do this, we do this, where it's like you didn't buy the game, so I guess people are gonna, I guess the forest is gonna die. Good for you. It's like you've got the
We
money
couldn't
to
save the
put.
planet because you didn't buy a
It's like
video
you've got the
game.
money to plant the trees. Why don't you just plant the trees? Maybe you just do the good thing. Maybe you could just do the good thing without needing to, like, tie it to something else. Anyway.
Yeah, but that's how promotion works.
Yeah, yeah.
Save
And
the
it
planet today. Play a video game.
and it's like it's interesting too that they didn't it's not just like for every sales because they wanted to actually make it like I like that. In some ways, having it like tied to the actual engagement in the game is kind of nice.
PlayStation App's trophy page says 47.5% of players have the trophy already. So half the people who pre-ordered, assuming anyone who pre-orders also plays immediately, have done it. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, because sometimes you buy a game and you get it, you like start your download, or you have your physical copy coming in the mail, or whatever. So you don't play it like day of
Right.
necessarily, or like in the morning because you got work, unless you're one of those people who takes time off, or you're a streamer and therefore your work is basically your work anyway.
Yeah, yeah. There's got to be like a speedrun category for like tree percent. It's like how fast can we make Sony plant a tree?
Mm.
Can we get them to plant? How fast does it take? How long does it take to plant a tree? Can we hit these? Can we get uh, that achievement faster than it takes to go out and actually plant the tree? That would be the trick. I guess you could do it. Yeah, you need a new copy of the game every time you do it, though, which is a little tricky.
Well, no, you'd need a new account, right? Because if you already have the PlayStation Trophy on your account for that game, then you already have that trophy unlocked. You'd have to start the game over on
Maybe you can just make a new PSN profile. I don't know how that
yeah,
works.
I think you could. I mean, technically, one person could buy this game and make 288,000 profiles, and then go through the process of getting past
Sony
the
is just like, I don't
trophy.
understand it. We have all these people have this one. How did they? But there's only one copy of the game. Do we really only sell one copy of this game worldwide? We are in deep trouble. Anyway, uh, let's go on
That would
to.
make an amazing news story, you know. This game only sold one copy, but somehow got through the cap of, of all these trees being planted.
Uh,
Uh,
so onto something else that's growing like a tree.
well,
Cyberpunk 20.
branching out.
Yeah, there you go. Cyberpunk 2077 um, just got a big patch. Um, the 1.5 patch,
Mhm.
which, among other things, it's actually removing support for last generation consoles, which, if you recall, was always kind of a contentious thing on Cyberpunk 2077 anyway, because it didn't run very well at all on those old
So
consoles.
wait, it didn't. It ran technically ran on the PS4, and I'm going to say the PlayStation 4 Pro, because they did say they were bringing out for that. Now that they've patched this game, now it won't.
I think that is the case. I should probably double check that before I actually say that. But because
Because
there's
that's mm. I mean, there's one thing to put out a game that doesn't work properly on a device, but then to, like, I don't know, retcon it into non-existence is
yeah.
weird. You can stop support for a thing, right? Like, oh, we're not going to be updating that thing anymore, and we're not going to be doing whatever with it because we're only focusing on the newer hardware. Sure, that I could see.
So uh, apparently specifically the so that I don't know what the compatibility with older generation thing, because it should still work with older for the PS4, but apparently there is a incompatibility uh with the physical version on PS4 on the PS4 disc version. The physical version is having some issues caused by this patch.
Ooh.
So if you've got the PS4 disc version of Cyberpunk 2044, uh, don't do
Do
that
not
up.
install your updates. Ooh. Ugh. Ugh.
Um, yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what so it's um, let me I'm just looking at an article here. Sorry. The physical version of Cyberpunk 2044 on every iteration of the PS4, so even the Pro, brings up continuously brings up launch errors, and you get corrupted data messages when trying to start the game, asking them to delete the application, insert the disk again, and reinstall. So yeah, I'm assuming that's being worked on. Um, so if you have a PS5 or a PC, apparently this update was great in terms of it fixed a lot of stuff and made things a lot better. But if you've got a PS, once again, the older generation consoles seem to be not high on CD Projekt Red's testing list.
It sounds like it's a game that got delayed to a point where they should have maybe announced that there was not going to be a PlayStation 4 version at all.
Mm.
Just from the sounds of how the game plays, at least on the base model. Like if you can't play it very well on the base model, you should. I I know there's promises. There's probably contracts even involved somewhere in there,
Well,
but it
I mean,
just doesn't sound.
that
They
was the
should have. They shouldn't
that
have.
was the controversy was that when it came out, it ran so badly on the PS4 that Sony actually removed it from the PS4 store. Like Sony was like, "This is not a game that we can sell," and and it came out through interviews with various people and stuff that basically they hadn't done a PS4 they weren't doing PS4 testing on it because they were crunching so hard at the end, and they just like they weren't doing PS4 builds as much as they should have been, and so the any issues that the PS4 was having just didn't get figured out.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of problems in
presumably it
which
was
like
yeah it was contractually obligated to come out on PS4 even though it shouldn't have been, or even though they shouldn't have tried probably.
yeah. It's just when
Any
I hear about crunch like that, it's just like this was planned poorly,
yeah.
very poorly.
Anyway, um, what's but there were a bunch of other patches or updates to the game, which added some patches and things to help out things. And it's always great to get these like super detailed patch notes because there's often, I mean, Crusader Kings is another one that often has very funny patch
Hmm.
notes.
Yeah, Crusader Kings has been like the popular one to read lately.
Yeah,
Sims has often had
they'll be
some
like
really
people no
funny
longer accuse
things.
themselves of having to of trying to kill the king or something like
Yeah,
that.
which is funny because it's like I don't even know that that's a problem because nobody's talking about those issues in places that I hang out, and then patch notes come out, and you're like, wait, there are people who just would do that. I should have been playing this game.
um, so yeah, so now NPCs can now drive away in a panic if danger arises, but they also die in car crashes. So and good but bad. Uh, Easy mode is more challenging. I guess easy mode. People were complaining that easy mode was too easy, but medium mode was too hard. I don't know.
The whole difficulty spectrum of like easy, normal, hard is such a weird thing to try and define.
Yeah, well now often now I mean for Cyberpunk it actually it goes. like very hard, medium, easy story mode.
I do appreciate a good story mode because sometimes
Um,
you just don't want to really
which I like the
do the
description
game.
because I used the screenshot of story mode selection in the thing, and the description is like, for people who want to just experience the story, you will not be challenged by the combat. It's like, trust me, the guys are like super easy. Don't even worry about it.
I liked the what was it? The night city nightlife
Yeah, they made the
enhanced.
music in the clubs louder, which I guess is that something that people were really asking for?
I maybe people really wanted that immersive club experience.
Yeah,
I've only gone to one once and I didn't like it and I will not go back.
I feel like if you're all cybernetically enhanced, you could probably just like turn down your.
Ah, yeah. Is there I mean, we make like earbuds and stuff now where you can kind of do selection of people's voices that are closer to you,
Yeah,
right?
different frequencies and
So
stuff.
if I can do that, then yeah, maybe.
Um, and yeah, the cyber psychosis attack doesn't work on cyber psychos, which seems like a reasonable thing. I haven't played the game enough to know what a cyber psycho is, but I can guess. I mean, the name is fairly evocative. So anyway, lots of big updates for Cyberpunk, although they continue to have some issues. Hopefully, for Cyberpunk's case, for this for Cyberpunk, I hope Battlefield continues to take the pressure off in terms of being the game that everyone is dumping on.
Oh, I see. Okay. I was like, what does Battlefield have to do with this?
Battlefield
Oh,
20
I see.
Battlefield
Yes.
2042
The
has
new
been
dunking game.
has been the new thing that is apparently unplayably bad. Again, I haven't played it. That's just the thing that's been going around. And then we
Oh
have
my goodness.
this story, and as we talked about, and what we talked about in the episode is true. This story, while it was read by Graham, was in fact written by Beej, which
Yeah.
I don't think, even if we hadn't said that, I don't think we would have. I don't think it would have been like you would have believed that Graham had actually written this story. So
Oh, I mean, I don't blame Graham for putting in inserts of like, I clearly didn't write this. Beach clearly wrote this. Especially given that I was home when Beach was cackling and writing this and being like, Graham will have to say these words. And I'm
um,
like, he can change the script before he reads it. This is a pre-recorded edited show.
See, Beach knows that Graham could change the script, but he also knows that that would involve Graham having to write a new thing. And if there's something already written, it's like it's already there. That's a lot of work to go through to change it.
Yeah, I think what really surprised me about this story that Beach wrote is that he wrote the long story this week.
That's true.
Like it's not like super long in terms of like some of Graham's longer stories of things, but it is I think it is the longer story out of the batch.
It is definitely. And yeah, so it's talking about that Nintendo has announced the retirement of the Wii U and 3DS eShops, which now and they've to be fair to them, they're giving it a good long runway. March 2023 is when they're actually going to be closed, so it's not going to be for a while. And there you have like something like 95, 94 days, I guess now, uh, while you can still add money to your account to actually like buy things, and then they'll make
Unless
it
you've got your Switch account set up with the
right,
thing because it shares the balance.
right. I guess also if you have money in your account that you put in previously, you probably want to spend it at some point too, so that it
Likely.
doesn't just go away.
Again, that balance is shared though, so I think it just converts over
So
to your
just connect your
Switch if
accounts
you
together.
have the accounts connected. I mean, we went through this like I want to say 2 years ago, but I don't remember because time is real weird and malleable in my brain now, thanks to the pandemic. But we went through this with the Wii. The Wii had an online shop
Right.
that Nintendo was like, "Hey, we're shutting this down soon." And the Wii one was even kind of weirder because there was absolutely no dollar value associated with anything. You had to buy the Nintendo points that you
Mm.
uploaded onto the thing from the card, and I think you can still download stuff you've already purchased on the Wii. I think they said at one point you'll still be able to download stuff for your account. We'll let you know eventually that might have to go away, like because systems get old and those things shut down permanently one day.
But
But
if
we
like
will let you know.
if you dig out your Wii from the garage, plug it into the network, you can still actually download stuff that you bought in the Wii eShop, even though the
Yeah,
eShop
I think
itself
so.
can't be. You
Yeah.
can't buy new things.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I see going on here is it's we're giving you your lead time. We're stating that you'll still be able to download your previous purchases and do online play for as long as that's going on, and it's probably the 3DS eShop and online play that's keeping the Wii U one alive at this point.
Yeah, and so I mean, one of the interesting aspects of this is that maybe even more so than the Wii eShop, the Wii eShop, is that the 3DS eShop has a ton of games in it that are sort of unique, like a ton of games that are not anywhere else. Like obviously there's
Mhm.
virtual console stuff, but that's not that big an issue because it's either
Well,
it's out
okay.
there. So
I
I
wouldn't phrase it that way, Paul.
so
Just
it's not.
to keep the internet ire off of you.
I mean, it's not that much of an issue in terms of video game preservation, shall we say? So there's this issue where there's a bunch of games, there's a bunch of stuff that's in the 3DS eShop that isn't anywhere else. There's nowhere else to get it. Virtual console games you can emulate. They're available. They're out there. Um, but um, but there's some eShop stuff that just isn't available anywhere else, and theoretically, is kind of going to disappear. So there's questions about like if there's some other way that can be that will be able to be accessed, or whether that can be archived in some way.
Yeah, and I mean there are definitely a bunch of articles about that right now. So if you have a 3DS and you're like, I want to see what those games are, maybe go check the articles out and see if there's anything that piques your interest. I know Pocket Card Jockey was one.
Hmm.
I think that was that Game Freak that did that one,
Really?
or
Wow.
it might have been. No, wait, I think that might have been level 5. Game Freak did Harmonite, though, which is also the 3DS only digital download, which we played on Rhythm Cafe ages
Oh wow.
ago.
Yeah.
Because Game Freak does make smaller games every now and then,
Hmm.
not just Pokemon. Uh, it's not often, but every now and then. There's a few of the Phoenix Wright games that I don't know if they're also in other places, but I know that because we didn't get physical copies of those for the 3DS, they got digital only in our areas, like Dual
Right. Right.
Destinies and whatnot. So, you know, you might want to check.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's true that like when this goes there, the stuff that's on the virtual console and things aren't going to be as available when stuff the new virtual console for like Switch doesn't have everything that the old one did, and the terms of Nintendo's more into the Nintendo Online stuff, so where
Yeah,
you're
I mean
sort of
there is no virtual console for the
subscription
Switch.
service. Yeah.
Not even in terms of labeling or whatnot. And that is the thing that I think Nintendo has said when or in their FAQ or whatever, that they, when asked about like what happens with these titles, they kind of just push at, well, we have this online service where you can play some classic games and whatnot. And from an archiving standpoint, of course, that's not good enough. From a consumer standpoint, that also really sucks. From the
Yeah.
standpoint of they own their content and they get to decide whatever the fuck they want to do with it, it's kind of
Yeah.
their,
I mean,
that
obviously,
they get to decide that. That's not necessarily a fun thing as a consumer. I'll agree to that. But I've seen so many heated things where people are like, they should be obligated to do these things. And like, well, they're not.
yeah, it's
And that sucks, but they're not.
yeah. I mean, certainly not legally obligated. I mean, you could. There's maybe an argument that they are that you feel they should be morally obligated, but that's. I mean, stuff goes out of availability all the time. That just sort of happens. Like the aspect of the virtual console stuff is more just that it's like, yes, they won't be available on a Switch necessarily, but they're like, you know, any like Game Boy Advance or older Nintendo games, have all been archived in various ways. So that's not a big that's has been sort of done. It might not be in the way you prefer to play it, but it is certainly they are certainly around. But um, the it's interesting how they have to like the sunsetting of these different systems, and of course, as Graham talked about in the outro, there's the aspect of there's the Pokemon bank system, which is why Palisade is getting foreclosed upon. Palisand is this idea of that it's like, yeah, the your Pokemon are could be in trouble if you don't go back and get them again.
Yeah. I mean, that's that, but that's what happens with digital stores, right? Like my understanding is when you purchase a digital version of something, you're generally buying a license.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that
It's
is.
considered different from a physical good. Um,
I mean, these days, a lot of times, the physical good even doesn't really give you the actual thing. But
yeah, there's that too. Then there's stuff like live service games where, uh, like World of Warcraft and whatever. There's going to be a point where you probably can't play certain. Well, maybe. MMOs. I'm gonna go with MMOs because that's stuff that is like server side and whatnot. And I don't know enough about World of Warcraft to know how that all works actually. So, but there comes a point where things stop existing.
mm-hmm.
I
And
do want to point out because there's that point where there's like, oh, PlayStation 3 in the Vita shop and gnashing and wailing of teeth in the story. Um, and Sony did do that. They said, "Hey, we're gonna drop the PS3 and we're gonna drop the PS Vita stores." I believe their lead time for that was much shorter, and
I think
kind of came out of nowhere for
I think it
even
was
some devs who were still doing Vita games,
I think it was like,
even
yeah,
though
just
they're
like a
digital
couple
only.
months.
And related to that was also roughly when we found out that because of the way the the online check-in thing works, I think the idea was with the trophy system that if your little CR 2032 battery in your system ran out one day and the time clock went down and the servers were also gone, guess what? Your PlayStation just doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you have. And I'm like, I think I want that fixed.
Yeah.
That to me is a graver sin than uh, oh, your digital storefront is going away, and I better download my games soon.
Yeah. And they did fix that problem. They did.
Yeah, there was
They
an
released a
update, right?
patch for the PS3 to make it not do that.
But did they do it for the PS4? I have a PS4, not a PS3, so I kind of care about that one more.
I'm assuming they would have.
And my Vita. I'm one of the few people, the joke of however many people, 12 people of us who bought a Vita. I'd like it to still work in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I have to play my rhythm games that are only on there. I'm pretty sure the Hyper Dementia Neptunia rhythm game is only on that Vita. I don't think it's on other things.
Sorry. For this entire episode, I've been like, Heather sounds kind of weird and tinny to me. I hope that's not something wrong with
Oh
like
no.
my setup or microphone or something. And I just and then as we've been talking, I was like, man, my headphones are kind of bugging me. They're and I just realized that I had them in the wrong ears. And these are the Apple earpods that are like
No,
they're
they
very,
do not
very
swap.
directional. So you
I'm
sound
so glad.
you sound so
I
much more bassy and rich and full bodied sounding than you were before.
I sound rich. Can I just be rich? I'd like that. I would buy my friends so many things if I
Um,
had the money to do so.
I don't think I've ever done that with earbuds before. I've done it with over the ear headphones a lot. I always do that where you're like looking, you're like trying to find out where something is in a video game, and like trying to do it by like the sound, and you're like, wait a minute. uh, all right,
Yeah, so
so
stuff's going away. Get
stuff's
on
going
that.
away. If that is important, if there's some important stuff for you, check it out. Um,
Also, wail and gnash your teeth on the internet if you want to, because who knows, maybe that will change their minds. I also agree that it probably won't, but don't be rude at other people.
speaking, speaking of whales,
Ooh,
Bioshock is gonna have a Netflix show.
are there whales in Bioshock? I've never played.
I think you could see some like I don't think that you don't actually like fight whales, but there's probably ones going along in the background.
Ah, cool.
Uh apparently they're working on Netflix thing, which is one of those like or if, not a show, a movie. Um which is one of those ones where like you see like the original cuz BioShock has been talked about as a movie for since the game came out because it was very popular as a game and had a very sort of unique aesthetic to it and stuff.
Hmm. And we
Um,
all want our video game movies,
right,
unless it's
exactly.
Sonic, which was done wrong, and Mario because Chris Pratt's in it. I guess.
Sonic was
I
actually
don't know.
not too.
That's
Sonic
what the
wasn't actually
internet
that
keeps
bad.
saying. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I liked the Sonic movie. I'm excited for the sequel.
Um,
Apparently, they're making a third one.
yeah, apparently it's like yeah already happened. Anyway, um, this is I feel like this is one of the like how the mighty have fallen kind of thing though. It's like when you're first like when Bioshock was like super hot and the cool new thing, Gore Verbinski, the guy who did the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, was like detached to direct it, and they were going to get a big thing, and then nobody heard about that for a while, and then you hear about like other companies are maybe looking to option it, hear about it for a while, and then it's like a Netflix movie.
Oh no, you're
And
right.
then it's like
That's the new direct to DVD thing, isn't it?
I mean
It's
it
a
is.
Netflix movie.
Like it fully is. I'm pretty
Uh,
sure. I'm pretty sure the companies that used to make direct to DVD stuff don't even make direct to DVD stuff anymore. It's just straight to streaming,
aw,
Netflix or Amazon or wherever.
I miss looking through those buckets in the
Um,
stores. The movies that are like $3 because you know nobody wanted to buy them.
so presumably we're talking Bioshock the original two, not Bioshock Infinite.
Hmm.
I would guess just because those are the ones that are actually more what I would call sort of more iconic. Um, I mean, Bioshock Infinite had lots of stuff, cool stuff in it, but the big daddy and everything is from Bioshock 1 and 2, or 1 in particular. Which especially Bioshock 2 is good, but Bioshock 1 is still a very cool game.
We did a story a few weeks ago about The Rock potentially being in some sort of movie that he wouldn't talk about? You think it's the BioShock one?
That's true. Maybe
Do you think
he's
he
just
plays
in.
the Baguette Boy?
Yeah, The Rock as Baguette Boy. It's not actually him. It's like a motion capture thing. But yeah, get Andy Serkis in on this. Uh, I mean, unfortunately, despite what we showed in the video there, Baguette Boy will almost not only because but Baguette Boy was from a DLC from BioShock Infinite, so the chances of that showing up are relatively slim.
Yeah, it's just that's the first time I've seen the animation. I guess again, I haven't played these games,
Just
but
looping around.
Baguette Boy is a strong sell to want to play a game. I think.
Yeah. Uh, all right. Let's talk about some stories that we didn't do in the episode. Speaking of things that fans like, or also known as fan service, uh, there is a. This is actually pretty cool. There's a going to be a set of art prints for the 25th anniversary of Tomb Raider. They're releasing a set of art prints of various artists' reinterpretations of the covers of the different Tomb Raider games, and the the money for it are the proceeds are just going to go towards Girls Make Games, the charity that supports women or young women in video game development and stuff. So, and there's some really sweet. Here, let me pull up.
I mean, this seems pretty good. Because the article says like $50 gets you 15 physical prints,
Yeah, there's some
which
pretty.
honestly, that's
So there's some pretty sweet art. So of different. These I don't know if these are all the posters. But this is a select, or I don't know if all of these are going to be posters. But this is a selection of some of the art that has been put forward for this. Different different interpretations of the covers of the various Tomb Raider games. So there's some neat stuff there.
I would that one that you're showing just above that's kind of a little cartoony right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I would watch a Tomb Raider animated thing in that style.
I feel like it could be a spin-off of like the Carmen San Diego
Oh
animated
yeah, it's
universe.
definitely got that vibe.
And like they could be in the same like that they could be in the unit they could be the part of the same like there could be like a backdoor pilot
Yeah,
in
crossover.
in the Carmen San Diego TV show and then just expand on it. Um and yeah, there's Indiana Jones ones and all sorts of different um yeah, cool stuff. I it's neat to see. I always like I mean there's criticism of various legitimate criticisms of like the Magic the Gathering secret layers where they do like different alternate art, fancy art things for cards and stuff. And
Hmm.
I have various ideas about whether they're good as cards and stuff, but as art pieces, a lot of them are beautiful, and it's neat to see alternate interpretations of something that you sort of know. So I dig it. Uh, No Man's Sky, the game that just keeps on getting bigger and more cool stuff, and is getting bigger and more cool stuff. Uh, They are. This is the next update for No Man's Sky is called the Sentinel update.
Oh
And
no.
if you know the Sentinels in No Man's Sky, I've only played like a little bit, but the Sentinels are basically there's these little like they're like these little robot flying things that show up every once in a while, and they basically if you if you like mess with stuff too much, like if you just like kill a bunch of the like animals of the planet and stuff, the Sentinels will come after you and get mad at you.
Oh. Yeah, okay. So they do
Uh,
work in the way I think they do.
yeah, they're like they're sort of the galactic police force, I guess. Um, but they're sort of drones that travel around and do stuff, and so one of the things that they're adding more sort of backstory to them, and there's like a whole quest line where you get to learn more about them, and there's new different kinds of Sentinels, including a big like Sentinel Walker thing that can come after you,
Hmm.
and that you can also get one to be your friend and walk
Oh,
around with you.
new friend.
Yeah. Uh yeah, you can uh you can have a the exomech, and you can have it can be a robot bro, which you can already have like a pet in the game too. So you could have quite an entourage.
Just going
Um,
around, No Man's Sky, making friends.
yeah.
Little robot
To be
friends,
to
little
be
pets.
honest, that was an aspect of No Man's Sky that I was actually like that I kind of didn't like. Not that you can have a pet and stuff, but for a game called No Man's Sky, when I played it, I found it like too crowded. And not like there's like other players, but just you would think like I thought that the game was going to be more like, oh, it's this mysterious, world, and you have to figure out how to survive and what's going on and all this stuff. But like from the beginning of the game, quite often like random ships will like fly by and different like there's just like stuff other people around, like there's NPCs and stuff, and it's like, oh, I thought this would be more like lonely, cool, like Subnautica, where it's like all kind of,
Ah,
nobody's around and it's this weird mysterious world, and it's like, yeah, it's mysterious, but there's like a dude over there you can just like go talk to. It seemed weird to me, kind of put me off.
well, don't worry. In another 2 years, it'll become a different game again, and maybe
Probably,
that'll
yeah.
be more for you.
Maybe there'll be like the less people expansion. Uh, this was a story. I don't think we actually mentioned this, but this was something that I saw last week. Um, was that so? The Sims is coming up with an expansion called My Wedding Stories,
Hmm.
which allows your Sims could already get married, but this is like more wedding stuff.
Going through the actual like process and the bridezilla stuff, I guess maybe
Yeah,
the fun parts.
yeah, yeah.
The game
Um,
just doesn't tell you. Now you do
and
it.
and one of the things that has I don't know about always, but as least for a very long time has been very quite positive about the Sims is they are very good about same sex couples or different relationships and stuff,
Hmm.
uh, are totally supported within the game. In some ways, like I feel like it was originally like it was just that they didn't want to didn't bother differentiating, like that it just wasn't something that the system checked when it checked for like relationships. It wasn't actually like an active choice on their part. It was more like a don't bother
Yeah,
checking it.
I'd like more human beings to be like that. Not bother checking into my business. It doesn't. It's not theirs.
But they've definitely been very supportive of gay and LGBT type content within the game. And so in this marriage expansion, same sex marriages are very much a part of it, and they have whole stuff for with different different outfits for people and all different types of things that you can get to
Mhm.
make that work better. And they were concerned, or there's concern that it was going to be a problem in some places to have so much of same-sex content, especially in Russia. Apparently, it is games have to be, there's a lot of concern about that kind of stuff. And they were like, we can't, because of the regulations in Russia, we would either have to change the game. We would have to change the game in order to release it there, or else it would get an 18A rating.
Yeah, because
And
the laws there are that you can't advertise this stuff to children or
right,
people underage, I think
uh,
specifically.
and so they're like, we have to change stuff, or it'll be an 18A rating, and we don't want to change the content of the patch, so we're just not going to release it in Russia. Sorry. And which there's an aspect where it's like you can respect that they're going to stick to their guns and not change the thing, but on the other hand, it's like that kind of sucks that people are not going to be able to get it in Russia. Um, they've now decided that they are going to release it because. So this is the weird part about this story. Apparently, Sims was 18A in Russia anyway because of previous content. Like,
Hmm.
because like I said, they've been having homosexual, same sex content for a while in the game. So apparently, it was rated 18A in Russia anyway. So they're like, you know what? Our team has reassessed our options and realized that we can do more than we initially believed. The Wedding Stories pack will now launch in Russia and the rest of the world on February 23rd.
Yeah, now they did do this. Well, okay, maybe not completely, but it was like they did have a lot of people in their own community who were like, we still want you to bring the game out. There is other, like, even if you have to 18 plus rate it, and I think the article does say something about that they had chosen to not release it initially
Mm-hmm.
as more of a because of like worry of yeah, here we are. All the recent cases of censorship and cuts were about self-censorship in fear of backlash, not about the demand of the Russian government. And this is what EA does, just censors itself.
Mm.
It's that idea of we have a game we're trying to market, we're going to want to do whatever. We don't want backlash over trying to release it.
Yeah. It,
Backlash happened because you weren't going to release it.
and I mean, that, like, it is a real thing. There's, in terms of, this idea of like, the government didn't say no, so they can't, so it's okay. I mean, this idea, they call it, it's sometimes called like a chilling effect, whereas like, even if there isn't like an explicit, this is not good, if the chances are it's going to run into some regulatory trouble, it will have an effect. Big companies will be less inclined to try to do it just because
Mhm.
it's not worth the effort. So
We've seen
it's
this with mobile games that have mechanics in it that are gotcha mechanics or whatever, where there are laws in other countries that are like you need to show your numbers or you need to
right,
like do whatever, and because they don't want to make those changes either, they literally just pull the game from that market,
right. Which is, I mean, that's
which is
yeah,
bad for
that's something.
different reason.
Yeah, it's like that's something I can get behind more than because it's got same sex content. The
Oh yeah, but it's that kind of
but it's the
idea,
same.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's that thing of like we don't want to deal with that. We don't want this kind of thing. We don't want to change our rating. We don't want these things. So here's why we don't do a thing. I'm glad they changed their minds.
Mm.
I'm glad it's coming out.
Yeah, and that the community has convinced them that it's worth the possible effort that it's going to take. What else we got going on here? Right, Battle Royale Wordle.
Yeah, in case you really wanted something stressful to play.
Yeah, it's like, is Wordle too relaxing? Do you want to do Wordle while also like competing with people? Yeah, it seems like the not like if that's what you're into, maybe Wordle is not the game for you. Is all I'm
So
saying.
this one's called Squabble. Um, it it definitely, if you're familiar with games like Tetris 99 or Mario 35, it does that thing where you can see other people are playing. You have a health bar that counts down the more time you don't put
And then if you put a
words
wrong thing in, it
into
also
it. And
drops.
I'm
Yeah,
already not good at coming up remembering 5-letter words or having my brain tell me about all the letters that I've already used and shouldn't be used in my guesses forever before having other people uh try and do the game faster than me with the countdown timer.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if that's what you're into, more power to you. But not definitely not the way I would want to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly can see it. Like, if you're really good at that kind of a puzzle thing already, then having something that is essentially kind of a more challenging idea, yeah, absolutely go enjoy yourself. That I can totally get it. I just know that I tried. I did one round and I immediately hated it, and I knew I would, but I did it anyway because I was like, okay, I want to see it. Yeah, all
It's
right.
to be honest, like calling this battle royale is maybe a little bit. It's more just like a timed competition. Like a bunch of people. I don't know. I guess a bunch of people competing against each other is now just called battle royale, regardless of what else it is.
I mean, yeah, kind of. Um, I prefer this style of battle royale over like the shooties, the shoot 'em ins.
I mean,
But I'm
I'm
also just not a fan of first person shooters, so those were never gonna gel with me anyway.
right. I don't know if there's if there's a first person shooter Wordle,
Because like
maybe.
I like Tetris 99. It's stressful. I've never won, and I won't probably ever play it forever. But that I enjoyed. I liked Mario 35 uh, a little bit more because wow, everybody suddenly goes through a Bowser level and like 6 Bowsers are in your level all of a sudden, and it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work within the like how you would like damage people within the context of Wordle.
It
Maybe,
would probably make your HP go down faster. Like, it's
yeah.
not going to be fun for me. For me, it's not going to be fun.
I like the idea, maybe, or like the idea that like you can damage people. Like if you damage people, that like the things, the letters that have like turned gray or yellow or green, like turn off, like
Oh
stop
no!
becoming gray.
Oh
So
no!
they like go back, and so you have to like remember which are the ones that were actually.
I don't need people to do that for me. My brain does it already. Actually, that may make it less stressful. I'm just going to check those other words anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe if you do really well, you get an extra guess.
That'd be
Like if you
interesting.
get a letter in the right spot the first time, yeah, the game will take pity on you and give you an extra guess. It's called Pity Heather mode.
It only works for you though, right?
I'm okay with this. I don't mind games pandering to me.
Uh all right, what else we got here? Oh, Halo. So the Halo TV show, you may have heard of or seen because the trailer has been kind of spammed all over the place. I think it's probably played in front of various loading ready run streams, and I've certainly seen it on YouTube videos and so forth. Looks super neat. I'm here for it, and apparently it looks super neat to Paramount as well. Paramount Plus, the people who are producing it,
Mm.
because season 2 is already in development. So, yay for the Master Chief, I guess.
That
Uh,
either means the first season has been decided is real good, or the game and brand just sell well enough that it's okay. We'll keep going.
yeah, it's people are just like, it's Halo. It's gonna be good. It's like people are gonna watch it. Let's just do the second season.
Oh man, you know, if Halo ever does like one of those, we need to also get in on this metaverse or universe unifying whatever thing, and we need a name for that. They should call it Halo World.
Halo World,
Yeah.
nice. I mean, Halo was already kind of part of the Bungie verse. There's references to like Marathon and older Bungie games in Halo, and there's references to Halo and older Bungie games in Destiny.
Mm.
Even though Bungie has like was owned by different people over the course of this, so they don't actually own all the IPs anymore. They've been doing tricky. When we talked about it on one of the couple weeks ago, months ago, whatever, when they did that like special anniversary thing where they're like, "Here's a sword
Oh
that is
yeah.
like an energy sword from a game that might have existed."
Right, right. We won't say the name of it, but hopefully you know. Yeah.
Mm. Uh, MLB The Show, 22, in fact, which I like to think is actually just the version number. Like it's not the year. It's actually this is MLB The Show 22. It's been there's a lot of versions of this.
Ah, right. Okay. My brain just settled in on what MLB actually stands for and not what I was putting in.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know what the I don't know the significance of the show. Um, Actually, to be honest, MLB The Show maybe did start in the year 2000. Maybe there are 22 versions of it. Anyway, so it's baseball. Uh, it is one of the big baseball sim games. Um, Super fun, or super popular, I should say. And as with all of these kind of sports games, as somebody who doesn't play them, I find it kind of fascinating to look at it because, of course, they always have to figure out ways to get people to buy the new one, right? Other than just like, hey, there's all the new people from the new
I
season.
I just assumed it was like any other game that has a yearly release. People just always buy the new one. I didn't think you had to convince people to buy the new one.
Well, I guess they feel like they need to convince people. Um, and so they've said this actually sounds kind of neat. If there were a group of people in the Loading Ready Run crew that were actually into playing baseball video games, then
Sports of any kind.
this is kind of a neat idea because it's co-op multiplayer is
Hmm.
the new thing they've added. So you can have up to 6 players, 3 on each side. So you can have basically uh, 3 people controlling one team, as opposed to just like each person controls their own team. Each team can be controlled by up to 3 people. So you can have one person pitching, one person doing outfield, one person taking infield. You could have and then you could have the other team like rotate who's batting and that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
It seems like a neat idea, and might sort of. I feel like it might kind of replicate more some of the sort of team enjoyment aspects of a real game of baseball or whatever, where you can actually like have your team camaraderie. It seems like kind of a neat idea. Um, they're saying currently it's only PvP stuff, not so it's like player versus player stuff. Not you can't currently you can't do like 3 people against an AI, but
Oh,
that
okay.
would be a neat thing to do at some point. So hopefully they will do that. Um, but it is cross-platform though. So
Oh, good.
it's on Switch and Xbox and all the different things. So play it all you want. And also you can bring your special players from the like regular game. You can bring your fancy players into the online thing too, which is pretty cool.
All right.
So that seems neat. And then our final story is something we haven't talked about in a bit.
We could have put that earlier.
Probably should have talked about this before, but anyway.
Oh, Wordle, you keep having stories about you, even though your time
You're such a small
popularity
little game.
should kind of be over by now. But not
so
that people should stop playing you, just that people. I don't know how much more could there be to talk about.
it's not that complicated a game. So there's an interesting. This is an interesting article about. So Wordle has now. We talked about that it was bought by the New York Times for low
7 digits.
7 digits, or yes,
I think. I'm pretty
low,
sure it was
yeah,
7.
Yeah, low millions. And Wordle is like, it's always weird because of course the place where you play Wordle, like it's not like you don't go to like Wordle.com, right? Like Wordle was originally just hosted on the guy's website. It was like whatever dot something.
It was a long, lengthy thing.
Wordle. Like the way you got to Wordle was you would do a Google search for Wordle. So now it's moved to officially moved within the auspices of the New York Times. And because the Wordle is a JavaScript game and it's not open source, but the source is available. You can look at it and decompile it and stuff. People can see and people can see that there have been some changes to the code of the game when it was taken over by the New York Times. Mostly some changes in the word lists. So what I loved about this is the list of words that you can guess. So the list, which is basically a list of 5-letter words in the dictionary, is about 13,000 words. The list of words that can be answers is approximately 2,300 words, apparently. And what's great, it's like 2,300 words out of possible 13,000. How did you choose those 2,300 words? Well, as we've talked about, the point of the game originally was he made this because he thought it would be fun for his wife to play. So the list is words that he thought she would know.
I mean, that's fair, right? That's making a thing for your target market.
Yeah, that's what you call market research right there. But as it has become more popular and stuff, obviously the scope of people who are playing it is much larger now. And so they've gone through and removed some words. They've removed some words to words that like the words that might be so they've removed both words that you could guess, so words from the 13,000 thing list, and they've also removed some words from the from the actual answer list, because the actual future answers are all sort of pre-allocated. So they've removed some 3-letter words, stuff like wench, or things that might be like slurs of various kinds. Slave, lynch.
Yeah,
they removed
words that have an association with
Yeah.
those things as well. My favorite is that they were like, we removed foreign spellings of things like fiber, so the re, and I'm like, oh, so you're going with the American spellings of things. Got it.
Mm,
Right. Uh-huh.
interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I guess
By
that
the
makes sense.
the original one, by the way, was hosted at powerlanguage.co.uk, right? So it's originally like a UK
Yeah,
thing.
that's not that's an English spelling in the terms of
Um, so yeah. So if you are playing Wordle, remember the American spellings are
yeah. I, as a Canadian,
the
found it
correct
funny because
ones.
I'm like, oh right, we do that thing in a lot of our words where we have the re on like theater and whatnot, and then if depending on who your teacher was in English class, seemed to think that that was a misspelling was was weird.
Um, there have been some issues. There were some issues. If you have been playing Wordle for a long time and you are, and then you go to the New York Times because like they redirected the old thing to the New York Times one. Some people lost their like history, their like play history of how many their like streak of how many they've succeeded, which obviously sucks. Um,
Mm.
Apparently, that was a bug that is fixable. So they have updated it to make that not a thing. So if you still have that problem, they want you to contact them.
Yeah. This was the changeover was why we had like that weird day where people had different words
Right, right,
as well, because it was like there was like this day, like a day or two where everybody had a different set of words because some people still were kind of hadn't like weren't play were like got moved, but they were still playing on like an older version,
right. It was
and
like
some people
cached
had the
in the
new
browser.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Old world order, new world order, new our old Wordle order, new world Wordle order. Uh, so anyway, uh, relatively minor changes in the great scheme of things, but I find that kind of thing quite interesting. Just like the
Hmm.
the transition from a thing a guy made because he thought it would be a nice thing to do and just for fun to a game that's played by millions of people and got is like owned by a big company now, and there's you know considerations that they have to take into account.
The thing now though is like any story we hear about this now will either be if they make some other big changes,
Mm.
which could be cool or not, uh, but some like or if something really dire happens and it's like, hey, remember that thing everyone loved for a little while? Now it's evil.
There's like ads all around her,
Yeah.
or like you can you can pay for like an extra guess, or get a power up to show you one of the letters.
You subscribe to the New York Times.
Mm. Yeah, that's right. New York Times subscribers get an extra thing.
I
They get
mean,
like an extra word. Like there's 2 words in that day. Uh,
yeah. It's like I hope we never hear about this game again. Mostly because I don't want bad news.
I mean, we've talked about it before, right? It's like, may you. It's a like a it's a blessing. May your company never appear on Checkpoint
Uh
for a video game
yeah.
company. Because if you're on Checkpoint, it's probably because you did something dumb or something
Mostly.
bad
It's
happened to
most
you.
likely that one. I mean, we've had a few funny ones where it's just like, this is a funny thing that happened.
And
Um, and
sometimes,
we get the kind of heartwarming thing every
yeah,
now and then.
sometimes we have a little palate cleanser, heartwarming thing, but usually those are in the chill point
Yeah, I. That's why
because
I like being on ChillPoint. It's why I don't
because
do CheckPoint.
Graham and Beige have hard hearts. They just don't want to. They don't want to show the good in the world. They only want to show the bad stuff.
Yeah, and Paul and I just want to talk about hamster games and cute things
Oh man,
and
I wonder what the hamster game is doing. That looked like a cool
right?
game.
We're not going to check up on these things, but we're going to remember them and be happy about them.
All right.
No,
Uh,
it's true. I just want to say, Gap Filler, you're right. We cannot forget Kathleen, the one with the hardest heart of all. She does do the writings as well.
let's see what's coming up next on the channel. Because coming up in just an hour and a half or so is Friday Night Paper Fight. Going to be some Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Wizards of the Coast just released a secret, like one of their special edition secret layers
Uh-huh.
called Neon Destiny.
Oh, okay.
which is
I
like a
was
bunch
not.
of
I didn't.
which is like a bunch of neon cards. So I'm just like,
Oh, I bet
damn it!
those look sweet.
I've been having so much trouble trying to remember that it's Neon Dynasty, not Destiny, and then they do that just to mess me up.
I don't want to play Magic at all, but boy, do I love the look of this set.
There are some very pretty cards.
Can Magic? Okay, somebody did an anime thing of Magic that looked great, and
They,
it's still probably not a show I'd watch. But can someone do a Kamigawa Neon Destiny Dynasty anime? I'd watch that. I'd do that instead.
I mean, it'd be weird because a bunch of stuff in the game in Neon Dynasty is like referencing anime, so it'd be kind of Ouroboros. But sure, why not?
QVDV, yes, I can collect without playing, but I already do that with video games. So
Uh,
I don't need another one of those.
I mean,
Zing.
there are various rumors that WotC is in development of some sort of animated thing.
All right, cool. Stuff for Heather.
And then tomorrow, it's Escape from Tarkov. More Escape from Tarkov. A little disappointed, to be frank.
He's still there, huh?
I was really pushing for them to escape from Tarkov last week. I was like, they're going to do it.
He's got Surge in there with him.
Yeah.
Who else do we have to throw into Tarkov to help them escape? Maybe they just need more people.
Or maybe that's like a sunk cost fallacy kind of thing. Like now you just have more people stuck in Tarkov.
Yeah, but it's James playing, so I feel like that's his jam. Sunk cost fallacy is just all James.
The thing I'm really worried about is on Wednesday, James did a bonus stream of Path of Exile.
Oh no.
And which he quite enjoyed.
Oh no.
And if you know anything about our streaming schedule, when James enjoys a game, it often suddenly appears on the schedule on the like Saturday
Yeah.
slot.
He's just gonna take over a whole Saturday
So
until he gets bored with one of them.
Yeah.
Do you take the Path of Exile before you escape from Tarkov, or do you have to escape from Tarkov to take the Path of Exile?
Maybe that's the path that you take to get out of Tarkov.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
And then on Sunday, Immortals Phoenix Rising, possibly the finale of Immortals Phoenix Rising. I'm right at the part that is probably the end. There's a giant volcano in the middle of the island with lightning.
Seems like in-game territory.
With lightning shooting down onto it. And when I go close to it, it's like, this is really bad. Are you sure you want to go here, or do you want to go do other stuff first? So I'm pretty sure that's like the end of the game. Last session, I was like, you know what, Dialogue Box, you've got a good point. I'm going to do a bunch of side quests. And all the gods were like, but could you?
Okay. Yeah, but they do that all the time in video games. They're always you got these
like,
people
this is really
who are
important.
very much like you got to get here now, got to do thing now, and you're just like, yeah, nah, you're making a big deal out of nothing. I'm just gonna go pick some berries over here for the next 5 hours.
Yeah. So but on on Sunday, I am gonna jump into the volcano on Sunday, and we'll see how that goes. Maybe maybe it'll be like maybe that will take more than one session, but we'll see.
Hmm. Well, that's why you got to do it on Sunday, so you have time in case it takes you longer, in case the
Right.
game surprises you.
In case, yeah. And then I mean, knowing the kind of game it is, I'm assuming that I'll be able to like run around, like it'll be like, you've succeeded, good job, but look at all the other stuff that you could be doing. What
Hmm.
about all the side quests that you need to do now to get better armor that
See,
you
that's
don't
the thing.
need anymore because you defeated the big bad guy?
That's
But anyway.
that's the thing. The game constantly pesters you about not taking your time management seriously and going straight to the end boss, and then it side quest shames you for not doing the side quests beforehand.
Hmm. Actually, my
Silly video games.
my favorite side quest is there's you get this you get your name is Phoenix, but you get this phoenix bird, flaming bird called Phosphor, who's awesome, who like helps you out, and you can like activate it, and Phosphor will like come down and shoot fireballs at people. It's great.
Nice.
And so I've been using Phosphor the whole time, and we're having fun. And but there's like a side quest that activate that like shows up on your map when you get Phosphor that I kind of ignored. And then last session or the session before last, I was like, before I jump into this volcano, I should do some of these side quests. I'll do this Phosphor one. And you find out that there's all this like Phosphor doesn't talk. It's just a bird.
Mm.
But there's like another god can like interpret what the bird says, and apparently Phosphor was like a double agent working for the he like there was all this like background info going on where it's like Phosphor was like actually going to betray me, but then turned out to like, and we decided to work together, and like decided to work together, and decided to like not be a double agent, all this stuff, and it's like that was not made clear.
I
All
mean,
Phosphor was doing was like hanging out, flying with me, and shooting fireballs at people every once in a while. I didn't get the whole secret double agent life thing.
you were happy in the non-knowledge that this bird was just your friend, and now you know that it was gonna betray you at one point.
Yeah, yeah.
But it thought you were too cool. So
Apparently so. Yeah. Anyway, I guess spoiler for Immortals: Phoenix Rising. Although,
that's the problem with when you set up people to be double agents and betrayal. You have to make sure they're not gonna go betray a really cool person.
yeah, yeah. Uh, Speaking of betraying really cool people, I don't know what's going on with Demo. Ian was saying Demo Reborn has sort of um, be changed. You guys were initially pretty down on it, but it's like you've actually come around.
Well, I mean, I always thought it was pretty cute. I think we were just confused by all the puzzle stuff at the beginning. But
Right, there wasn't actually that much rhythmy stuff in it at the beginning.
yeah, and we oh, let's see what happened last time. We found a forward block puzzle that we spent in it a long time trying to figure out four-letter words we could put in it without solving because we were trying to brute force it. You got
If only it
like
was a
six-sided
five-letter
blocks.
puzzle, you would.
There's these six-sided blocks, each with a different letter on them, and I had to go get paper to like write down what all the letters were because you have to rotate the blocks
Right, right.
to put them in the thing. And we spent a long time on that and didn't solve it because we were like, well, maybe there'll be a clue elsewhere. But we had tried to brute force that one. We found a balcony with some stars. Um,
I will say
yeah,
because of Wordle, there are lots of web pages you can go to where you just type in the thing and it'll tell you like all the words that could possibly be made from those letters.
well, that's the thing. We were like, oh, okay, oh, we can write the word tree. Great, let's try that. That even seems like it has relevance, and we put it in. And she has like a text line where she's like, oh, this is a tree of the thing and blah. And we're like, oh no, is it? No, that wasn't the thing. Nothing opened. Okay. What about this other word? Oh, she's got some text lines for that. How about this word? Nope. Spent some time trying to spell the word but, which we were not able to. Um, there's just that two
Bug
T's.
report.
Uh,
Butt report.
you know,
Interesting. I hope it's not
we
one
want
of
to play it
those.
till we're actually done now. So I think that's just going to be the game for a few weeks.
I hope it's not one of those puzzles where, like, even though you know the solution, you can't actually put in the solution until the game gives you the hint on how to do the solution.
No, that we know we've tried because Ian accidentally solved a windmill puzzle out of nowhere and we hadn't found the clue for it. And then this
Oh,
last session, we actually found the clue.
it's like, oh, that's how I was supposed to. Nice, nice. And you're just too smart for the game.
Yeah, that's what that dumb luck was. Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then is this your card? Wheeler's going to be continuing on with Inscription, which he says is great.
Yeah, that's the thing I've heard.
Unexpected, but great. And then on Monday, it might be more. There might be more Immortals Phoenix Rising, I guess. Maybe I should put that on the schedule. But whatever the case, after Monday afternoon will be Can't Draw Horses Club with Korean friends drawing things, followed by Crossing the Streams, which I believe will be the new Mario Party.
Yeah,
The Switch,
I'm on that one.
Switch Mario Party, yeah, with Heather and Ben and Kathleen and Nelson.
I think Nelson is the one who's on that.
Possibly Wheeler as well.
I don't know.
No,
No, Wheeler's AFK.
Yeah, but Nelson as well for that. So that should be super sweet. And that's like it's like Mario Party like best of, right? It's like
it's the brand new one on Switch. So it's Mario Party Superstars. Is that the title for that one? It's the one where they've remastered a bunch of the old boards and
excellent.
such. So it's not the first one for Switch. It's the more recent one.
Let's welcome people who subscribe during the stream. Starting with Far Wanderer for 42 months.
Too many knives for that 36th birthday.
Aiko and Mog for 98 months, getting that real close.
Got a surf down stage for 33 months.
Kid Amon for 16 months.
Rob Raccoon has gifted 5 subs to the channel. Thank you.
And Mick40K, MC40K for 68 months. And thank you for the bits, Pharaohbender. Yay. Da bits.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching. And thank you for joining us. If you haven't watched the episode of CheckPoint for some strange reason, you should go do that.
You should still do that because it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I laughed a number of times.
I mean, you've had some of the news spoiled now, but as you're watching it, pretend you don't know what the news is.
Oh no, the delivery is what you're going for now. If you haven't watched it yet, what you're going to do is watch the delivery and the little thing that like you and Paul and Graham did at the beginning of the show and at the end of the show, right? Like the little bits we don't talk about.
Exactly.
Because they're not news.
So we will see all y'all later. Bye.
Bye everybody.